Here we go then guys, so I've been fishing probably, I don't know, 40 minutes. I've had a massive wrap round that I missed, and I did shout down to Dad saying that I had a bite. He said he thought it probably a chub, and he was right. There we go, Wye chub, so off the mark. Fish on the bank, don't know, £3, something like that. And yeah, on a big bit of meat, that one, with the ground bait feeder. It's a good way of finding out if there's any chub in the swim. Put a big bit of meat on and they can't resist it usually, so yeah, we'll get him back, and hopefully the barb will do put in an appearance at some point. There we go. Well, Tom, who's never been barbel fishing before, has just caught his first barbel, and the only one of the day so far. Well done, Tom. Right then guys, so just a little update, and yeah, I've finally caught a barbel. It's only taken 2 swims. I'm making it sound like it's a mammoth task, but it's taken 2 swims. The first one I caught a chub in, had some other very sort of chubby knocks, and I was getting chubby knocks in the second one. Actually, I'm a long way away from where I started. This is the thing, we've never fished this stretch before. Anyone who books any of the Wye and Usk beach, you'll know some of them are brilliant. There's just so much water to go at, and it's all exclusive to you for the day. So yeah, so we booked this beat, never fished it before. It's called Middle Hill Court. There's some swims up the top that look like they get fished a lot, so that's obviously where we started. But I've come down this bottom end, which is a bit harder to get to, and yeah, there's some beautiful bits of water down here. This is just proper Wye magic down this end. Yeah, so I've dropped in one that looked perfect. So I had some rowers go past, stopped opposite for a bit of lunch, and they've seen me catch one. So it's probably taken about half an hour in that swim. So it just shows you, sometimes on the Wye, everyone thinks the Wye is prolific, which trust me, it is. If you get in the right place, it's very, very prolific. But if you haven't had anything in half an hour, don't think every swim is going to be prolific. That's my main advice for the Wye. I've been fishing it for a long time now, and yeah, not every swim is round with barbel, but if they're there, you should be getting bites within the hour. At least one to sort of show that there's a shoal there. Sometimes you spook them off and it will take a couple, 2 or 3 hours to get them back. So yeah, don't rule out things like that happening, but really you should get indications of fish very, very quickly. This river's got so many in, chub and barbel. So yeah, don't waste your time sitting for 3 or 4 hours in swims where it ain't happening. I've made that mistake a lot of times. Yeah, I am a bit tired from having to walk all the way down here. But I think I've had a good look at the stretch now, so I've familiarised myself with the water, and it's probably only about 3 or 4 other swims that I'd like to fish which don't interfere with the others. So we'll see how it goes in this one. I'm pretty confident that there is more action to be had in that swim. It just looks lovely for it. I'll show you it when I'm in there. It comes off the end of a really long shallow bit, and yeah, it just drops off nice and steady. So yeah, happy days. I'm going to get back in there and see if we can catch another fish. Well guys, so I thought I'd show you this fish, and yeah, if you've seen our last Wye video, you'll know it was quite incredible that we caught lots of little barbel. Well, I put out something with work and we had a look into it, and it seems that there's been a barbel boom all over the river. Loads of little barbel, and here is yet another piece of evidence of it. Look at that. What an amazing little fish. Yeah, I am going to get excited about catching little tiny barbel. Look at that, that is beautiful, that is wicked. Yeah, I thought certain it was going to be a chub. Yeah, it turned out to be a little tiny birdie. So there we go. The Wye in, if it wasn't good enough already, the Wye in 5 or 6 years is going to be cock on. Well, here we are then, guys. So here's the swim, and what a little sheet of water this is in front of me. Lovely. As you can see, we've got the white water, which is generally the area that you should be looking for to cast. Is actually on the inside here, which is good because it means you don't have to chuck right across the river. Sometimes you'll find it's going right down the far side and you've got to chuck right across the far side. That's certainly the case up the top of this stretch. But yeah, you've got shallows up there, runs off, drops into a sort of deeper run. This run sort of goes probably about 100 yards, and then it shallows up again. So there's a couple swims on it, 2 or 3 swims on it, and yeah, they all might be worth a go, but obviously I'm at the top of it, so hopefully I'm dragging any fish that maybe sat downstream and coming up to the centre of the ground bait. But it's interesting because fishing ground bait feeders, standard Wye tactics really. But I've had all my bites on meat, and I've just spoke to the guys down the other end. Paul has now had a barbel, Dad's had another chub, and Tom's had another chub, and everybody's catching their fish on meat. Pellets and boilies and stuff are really slow. I'm getting knocks on them, but I don't get the takes on them. So yeah, interesting. I've actually got a little robin red pellet on now, so I'm hoping that whacks round. And we're getting a lot of activity on the feeder, just sort of knocks like this on the feeder. Fish around my feeder, and yeah, that could mean that there's a few barbel there. Obviously I've had that little one and that bigger one. That was probably, other one was probably about £7 maybe at a push. So yeah, it'd be nice to get a couple more from here, and then what I'm going to do is work my way back up towards the others, because I am quite a long way away from them. We've only got a couple of hours. It's that time of year when it gets dark now. About, you'd be lucky if you were here till 6:30, 7 o'clock. So yeah, and we're on another stretch of the Wye tomorrow at Courtfield, which I have actually fished before. So yeah, it's I'm glad we've all caught something. It'd be nice if Dad can catch a barbel today, and then everyone's had a barbel, which is basically what you come to the Wye for, isn't it? Incidentally, I have actually got the piking gear as well. I had a couple trying the slacks up there earlier, lost a trace, which is a pain in the ass. But there are some very nice pike in the Wye. The conditions at the moment not great for them, with obviously the colour in the water, so whether that's a waste of time or not, I don't know. But I will be having a go at, maybe have a go for them again later, or a go for them on Courtfield tomorrow. We will see. But at the moment it's just sat in this lovely secluded woodland, and yeah, hoping that that tip wraps round again with a powerful barbel on. Oh, little knock then. Oh, hard knock actually, as you could see. Yeah, let's hope that goes round and it hooks itself. Right, catch you guys in a bit. Right, well here we go then, guys. I was having loads of chub activity in the other swim, and I've just moved swim, and yeah, I've caught another chub. So this is 6 of these now today, and yeah, this is sort of the average stamp, sort of £3-ish. The others I had in the other swim were a bit smaller, more like sort of £2-ish. So yeah, it's a nice bit of action. All of the bites coming on meat. I've just heard Tom's caught another barbel up there. So far today we've had 5 barbel between us all, and loads of chub. So yeah, a new bit of the Wye. You can't really complain too much of that, and we've still got the witching hour to come, where hopefully we'll pick up a couple more. So there we go, good times. Wow, Dad's persevered in this chub hold all day. How many chub have you had now?
I think I've landed, I've lost count. I've landed 5 or 6, and I've hooked 6 or 7. I've lost a couple,
but no barbel yet.
No barbel, no huge chub, but this one
might £4.
Might be close to £4. It's probably the best one of the day.
Lovely, well done. Right, so here we are then everyone, day 2, and yeah, it's been another real tricky day to start with today. We're actually at Courtfield today. I've fished this a couple times in the past. This is where my biggest Wye barbel comes from, and my uncle's, he's had 3 or 4 doubles from along here, so it is a good stretch for big fish. So we weren't expecting loads of bites. When you look at the reports, it doesn't fish its head off like some of the other stretches do. But when people do catch, they are bigger fish. Saying that, the only barbel and the only fish we've landed today, Dad has caught one probably about half an hour ago, and that was a small barbel, about 4 pound, I'd say. So yeah, it's not lived up to its reputation at the moment, but it is. I pike fished this morning, didn't have any joy doing that. I think Paul's had an eel. He's just fishing with me. Tom's fishing the feeder and he hasn't had anything, and like Dad's fishing the feeder and yeah, he's just had the first one after about 2 hours of fishing, so it's fishing slow, but he might get a couple more now, I don't know. I have had one bite on a bit of meat, a couple hard bangs like that, in another swim just above Dad, and yeah, there wasn't anything there when I wound in, no meat left or anything, so I would imagine that was probably a chub. And yeah, so cast out again in there and I didn't have anything else, so that is the swim I'm sort of going to get bank on later. So I'm just sort of exploring the rest of the stretch for now. Dropped in a nice swim here, just been in here about 4 or 5 minutes, no indications yet, but just flicking bits of meat around, not fishing a feeder or anything, just flicking bits of meat around looking for opportunistic bites at the moment, and then I'll focus for the last couple of hours on the feeder. So yeah, it can be a challenging day, but hopefully we'll have a nice big Wye barbel to show you at some point. Right then chaps, so another little update, and yeah, it's really not going very well today, for me anyway. Paul's had 1, I think, and Dad's still on 1. Tom hasn't caught anything yet. It's just a bit strange, to be honest. The river's got a little bit of colour in it, that still, well, you say that, if you turned up and looked at it like that, you'd think, oh, it's got loads of colour in it, but you chuck a bit of bait in the edge and you can see it a good couple foot, there's still a couple foot visibility there. So are the fish being moody? Are we not on them? Who knows? I fished that swim I last fished when I last checked in is one of the snaggiest swims I've ever fished. I cast about 3 or 4 places in that. Oh, thought we had a little touch then. In fact, no, I can see this. I can see the bit of rubbish hanging from my line. So yeah, that's a bit annoying. But yeah, so I thought that swim would be good, but it's full of snags. I had 3 or 4 casts in several different places. Some of them I pulled out of, eventually I snapped off, which is frustrating. I'm in the swim downstream of it now, and it's the sort of last one I can try on this bit. Basically, Courtfield's split into almost 2 sections. You've got like a wooded section, which is a lot shallower and faster, and then you've got the meadow section down the top end, which is where, so Paul and Tom are down in the fast bit, me and Dad are in the slower bit. There's a bit of barbel out of each, so you can catch fish in either. Personally, I always prefer to be in the faster water, but I come up here with Dad, and yeah, I'm hoping it's going to switch on later because it really hasn't been very good so far. I must have had about 10 casts in the swim above Dad, so there's a bit of bait gone in there, and that's the one I'll be returning to if nothing happens down here. So I just thought I'd come down while it's fishing really hard. I thought I'd just come down here and give this one an hour, and yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's a good tactic on the Wye to rove around. You never know what you're going to drop on, but just be aware that sometimes it does just switch on late in the day, and that's just the way it goes. But yeah, right, sun's proper beaming in my face, so I'm going to go.